So is it really that good? So I know I did an overrun, man, over this, and it was like basic features, and it showed me out there using the water. But now I've been using it for about 3 months, and pretty much wanted to come back and say, hey, is this thing really worth this Zillion? I know people's like, is that really how you pronounce it? I don't know. It's Zillion, you know. Zillion, it's a Daiwa SV, so it pretty much uses the SV spool. Is it really worth, you know, the $350? Is it really the bang for the buck after using it? You know, you can go out there and throw it one day and be like, ooh, that was awesome. But putting it through the ringer, man, catching a lot of fish with it. I probably caught, I don't know, 20, 30 fish on it. I've used everything from jigs to blade baits to shoot, everything that I've got in there. Umbrella rigs. I've thrown, you know, thrown through the gauntlet just to kind of see, you know, is it really worth that money compared to like your Tatula or, you know, the Shimano DC's, the one I got rid of and replaced it with this. So is it really worth that after, you know, using it for 3 months? And I will say yes, without a doubt. Here's why. So the improved features you do have, you know, the SV Boost, which uses, they say it uses a different type of magnetic flux, magnetic field to help control it from beginning to end to help give you maximum cast. To me, that's just technical. They like to throw technical words out there that kind of help, you know, sell products. But anybody that knows, for instance, if you know how to make electricity is created. Electricity is, I'm not trying to get real scientific on you, but electricity is created by spinning magnets or spinning coil around a copper coil. Because spinning magnets creates a magnetic flux. That magnetic flux, combined with the copper coil, is how you create, you know, electrons pass through to create electricity. You know, that's pretty much breaking it down real layman, but that's how it works. So the magnetic field that they're talking about, or magnetic flux, that's just pretty much the magnets in here spinning in a circle, creating a field. That's just basics. It's nothing real, you know, ooh, man, it's got a coil or something there. No, man, it's just there's magnets spinning in a circle. So, but does it compare to, you know, your typical SV from Daiwa? Does that SV Boost make a difference? It seems to, because I do get longer casts. Guaranteed. I've tried it with the same lure going back ½ ounce, 3/8 ounce, quarter ounce, you know, full ounce, you know, all of it, man. And does it, I do get cast. I definitely, if I go, I'll have either one of my Tatulas out there, and then I'll have this out there too, and I'll pull it out of my broad holder and throw them, and I will definitely see that I'll get 10, 20 feet, you know, 25 feet longer than I would if I was using on the other reels with the same lure, with the same settings. I usually set my breaks about 8, and I'll kind of go up and down depending on the weight or the type of lure that I'm using. And this thing will definitely outcast them every single time. I do notice this. This is supposed to have an improved clutch. I don't know if I mentioned that before. And the clutch, you know, when you're pressing and it's locking and how, you know, it stops and engages. I did notice with the Shimano, which always kind of made me nervous. If I was casting out there and I stopped quick and started reeling, you know, you're sitting there, oh, I'm about to drop in there, and boom, I stop real quick and start going so I can catch it so it doesn't sink as far down and get into the grass and everything. So you try to stop it high. I would feel that Shimano Corrado DC skip. It almost like skipped a gear, like the clutch wasn't engaging real good. I think I've only seen that once on the Tatula. I have never had that here. You can tell that the improved clutch on this Zillon or Zillion, I'm gonna butcher it, so you might as well get ready, get used to it. But it does engage better. I don't feel any slippage. It's tighter, and it's definitely gives you a little bit more peace of mind, because whenever you'll go to tight and reel in real quick and you hear that gear slip, it'll make you real nervous. And at least it does me. Like, oh man, am I chipping gears? Am I ruining bearings? So that, I think, will help with your longevity. Guaranteed. It's going to help with it. And you got, you know, the same. I think these both have the aluminum body. It does, the profile on these, man, does feel better. It kind of reminds me of like your Lew's Custom Light with that smaller, and it's got that little Corvette type tip on there. Everything else, the T-wing seems to function. You can tell this has pretty much identical, I believe, to like your upper end Lew's has what's called a P2 pinion, which is pretty much, instead of using a whole bar that goes through the bearings, it's suspended on 2 shorter ones where they on bearings themselves. So you have bearings on either side of the spool instead of just one going through, which it's going to give you, you know, better cast, going to give you better longevity, because you're actually sitting on those bearings and you've got less how do you, I don't know, I mean, how you can actually break that down, but you've got better supports. Let's say that you got better supports, you got more bearings. It's going to help it run smoother. It's going to help it last longer. And you do have, I believe you have improved bearings on these also, which you can feel it, man. It's smoother. The casting is what gets me. Like, I always liked the Shimano DC because I felt like I could cast. First time I see my friend using it, and I was using like a loose custom light, and I threw mine out there, and he was behind me in his kayak and threw past me and another 20 feet past where I was casting. And I was like, holy crap, man. It was like getting dunked on. It was like, oh man. So, and that's why I wouldn't get one. And it does. But if you ever watch videos of guys using that Corrado DC, you'll see them backlash a lot. They'll be constantly pulling at it. I will say this, like, I could never use a jerk bait with the Corrado DC. I've used multiple jerk baits with this, and I have not backlashed at all. Even if I'm doing something stupid, and like if y'all watch my video, man, where I was doing the ice punching. So I'm taking it. You're never with a bait caster supposed to do the old, you know, big arts, the big lobbing cast. And man, I sit there and was flinging that sucker up in the air, throwing like a 1 ounce jig, a ½ ounce jig, a 3 ounce jig, just throwing it, just letting it come up so that way it would come down and boom and punch right through the ice. No backlash all day. I was out there for like 4 hours, just punched, no problem, none whatsoever. So do I think it's worth it? Yes. If you've got the money, man, and you're sitting here like, I've got $400, right? Because this is $349. Your regular Tatula SV is $199. And do I think that this is going to be worth it? Absolutely. If you've got the money, man, and you're really kind of into fishing, this is peace of mind, especially if you're like myself. Primarily at the time, I'm shore fishing. So I mean, I get out there on the kayak whenever I can, but I'm primarily shore fishing, and that extra distance, that extra casting distance, can make all the difference in the world. And especially if you don't really have to worry about, I'm gonna fling it, I'm gonna launch it out there, and then, oh man, I got a backlash, I put too much on it. You don't have that, man, and it really helps, man. That's pretty much the basics. So I just wanted, like I said, I wanted to follow up since I've been using it. I have had zero issues. Nothing has came through and be like, oh man, you know, really concerning on it. And it's like, that kind of makes me nervous. Nothing. This thing has been golden from top to bottom. And I was kind of worried I'd be having buyer's remorse from selling my Corrado and going to this. And I'm ecstatic. I'm happy with it up and down. I would do it 100 more times. And I would, if I had 100 Shimano DCs, I'd sell all 100 of them and buy 100 of these. I might add a little cash on top because it's a little bit more expensive, but you get where I'm going. Man, I hope that helps those guys that are like me, and I was watching this thing for like a year and was like, do I really want to put that in there? And you got, now they give me the Tatula SV. If you don't have the money and you've just got the 200 and you're scraping to get that, and you don't have the extra $150, $170 to go with this, don't sweat it, man. You're right there. Only thing you're really losing is a little bit of casting distance. So especially if you're out on a kayak a lot and you're out on a boat a lot, you might not need that. You know, the shore fishermen, you're getting a little bit more casting, but you're still getting a lot of peace of mind, man, where you're not getting all the backlash issues. Now again, if it was me and I had the 250 for the Corrado DC, or 260 or 70 what it is for the Corrado DC, and it's like, oh, should I go with that? I mean, that's got that little chip, man, that sound. Man, I'm telling you, you'll be a lot happier with this. Even then, if it was the Tatula SV, you'll be a lot happier with that. Just put it down there. So, man, I hope that helps, man. Get you what you need, man. Thanks for watching.